What's up, Gloucester Township? Thanks for joining us on the Restored GT podcast.
The number one podcast in Gloucester Township.
Still the number one podcast in Gloucester Township.
No one's beaten us yet.
No, you got any?
I don't think anybody's tried.
Any fan feedback yet, or?
I did actually, Joe. I tell you all the time how people will come up and say hi. Somebody the other day, I actually had a hater, which was
nice.
It was a weird feeling because usually it's like, hey, aren't you the guy that did those the park videos? And I'm like, yeah.
They usually do that. They push me out of the way. They tell you that they know who you are. Yeah.
Well, this guy came up to me. He's like, I got a bone to pick with you. You guys spread misinformation. I forget what it was, but he was trying to tell me that I have it all wrong and I don't know what I'm talking about. And then he told me basically that I need to change the format because it's all over the place. And I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. I'm just another local guy that doesn't know anything at all about podcasting or stories to tell people, but I'm just trying. So I invited him on. He wanted nothing to do with it because he said I can't be seen on there because I will get destroyed if I'm seen on there. So it was interesting to have some negative feedback, but either way, it's all good. We're here for you folks out there that do want to hear about.
I think that means we're doing it right.
Right, yeah.
Somebody doesn't like it, we're doing it right.
Yeah.
I think, what did we do? We took a council meeting that would get eight views.
Right, yeah.
Every 2 weeks, 8 people would view our council meeting, and then we got 200 views now on a council meeting recap.
Yeah, something like that. Some are a little bit more, some are less, but yeah, on average.
So look, 192 people now learned something that they weren't going to watch to begin with. So it's a win. It's a win.
Yeah.
It's 190 of them hate us.
Right, yeah.
I
think that's true. I think it's the people that don't want this to happen watch it more than the people that are against it, are against the things that do happen in town. If that makes sense.
They're afraid. They're
oh my God, what do they say about us? What do they know? What's out there that people now know?
Hope those guys don't get popular.
Yeah, exactly.
We get yard signs too. We got yard signs coming.
There's some yard signs out there that are just trying to help get some more viewers, get some people signed up. You had done some advertising on Facebook as well, right? To try to get some people. So we're getting there. We got a couple, 100 and something, 160-ish or so subscribers, which I thought was good. I mean, we weren't looking to set the world on fire here. We're just trying to get out there and see what happens.
We started at 1.
We did. Yeah, we started at 1.
And
it wasn't me. I didn't subscribe to this. I think it was Joe.
I think it was me. Yeah, I had to do something for
it.
So
it might automatically signed up one. I'm not sure.
I think so. But we just slowly every episode we gain some more and some more and some more. And hey,
if you're not a subscriber at home, please do it. Just hit the like button, subscribe to us. It's a good reminder to tell people that, right?
And if it's your first time, if you saw the sign, you scanned it. We got some new people signed on since the signs went out. So hey, welcome. Yep. Check us out. It's not all over the place.
Yeah, we try and be informative. It's not all over the place as much as that guy made it sound like, but we aren't professional podcasters. We're just two local idiots that trying to tell you what to do.
Watch the meeting or go to the meeting, take notes, and then come back here and talk about it. So it generally follows the flow of the meeting. And, some of the stuff they talked about licenses and stuff like that this past, and, normally, I'd watch it and not know, but because now we're going to talk about licenses, I had to go look that license up so I could tell people what that license is about. So it's simple things like that. I think this is good for. And
so we're going to start recapping the July 26th council meeting that just happened, I guess last Monday it was. And that one started off with a walk-on resolution, which is it wasn't on the agenda for the public to know ahead of time, but it just kind of happened that it was... Actually, was that the walk-on? Either way, this was it was a bond ordinance, so if you were a follower, you might have heard this before. If not, back in October-ish, we were hit with a quote-unquote surprise expense as far as health insurance, because the town is a self-insured town. So we basically pay all of our own medical expenses versus paying a premium per person that's on the medical expense. And with that came the need for borrowing $4 million for a current expense. Not something you typically want to do, but our town decided we were going to spread that out over 7 years and pay for that bond ordinance. Now, I'm not the best bond ordinance person to explain this here, but basically what happens is the local finance board approved it for 7 years, which means we have to pay down a seventh of that bond every year. And when we do that, I guess we're paying back those that purchased that bond and then rebonding 1/7 less than what we had the prior year. And it was explained that this is a state mandated action that needed to be to be taken. So we can play clip 1, which was basically the explanation of this.
So this is required under local bond law, and we're going to be renewing what we were approved on the $4 million over a 7-year period. So that's the amount that you have to do this because it's a requirement of the state local finance board.
So that basically, was basically saying that this is how it has to happen from a procedural standpoint, and every year we're going to have to continue doing this. It was spoken in kind of terms of municipal government language that most people don't understand. So Denise Coyne asked to clarify this point here and said, hey, can you break it down into layman's terms?
Yeah.
As far as the walk-on, I didn't understand any of that. Could you try to explain that in lay people's terms?
So we went before the local finance board with the emergency on the health insurance, as you're aware of, in the amount of $4 million. The local finance board gave us permission to take that note out to 7 years. And so each year for the next 6 years, we're going to be rolling that over and paying 1/7 of it down. So in order to do that and go out for bonds, you have to have this resolution approved. Otherwise, the local finance board won't approve it. It's already been approved, but this is necessary every year.
So every year you have to do the same thing for 7 years. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so that basically what I was explaining there. It's every 7 years they have to do it once a year for the next 7 years.
And is this just for the money that was the health insurance thing?
Yes, the money that they were putting out for the health insurance.
Okay.
I believe it was $4 million total that they put out. So I don't know what this amount was. It was like $3,200,000 and something, whatever divided by 7 was. But yeah, so anyway, that was one part that we moved on to the MUA, which we recently took in-house as the
July 1st, right?
Right, July 1st. So the MUA no longer exists, the GTMUA. But when you have a GTMUA, you need to have someone that has a license, which is called a C4 license, that holds that. I guess it's basically like a regulation type of a thing, like a driver's license, like a CDL license type of thing, like someone that knows about that. So do you want to talk about the C4 license?
Yeah, you've got to have somebody on hand that is C4 certified. If you have 50,001 residents,
right? So
that requires a C4 certification. And from what I gather, the difference between like a C3 and a C4 is the amount of hours in training, and then the amount of hours in
there's testing,
safety,
as well, right?
And then there's testing involved. So smaller townships may be able to get away with the C3 or a C2, maybe even a C1. It goes by population, but when you get to over 50,000, you need a C4.
No, we had someone that had a C4, and I believe our Public Works. I think it's Kevin Butcheroni is the head of Public Works, and he has a C3 from what I recollect looking up before. That he's not able to be the person for that, so we needed to have someone else. Which we had someone as the MUA, but it was explained that person
Resigned?
Gave it up, resigned. I don't know what the term was. I heard other rumblings. I'm not going to repeat because I don't know that they're true, but I heard other things when it, dissolved.
Yeah, was that
I don't think people were exactly happy about that.
I wondered that when I watched the recap of the meeting earlier today, kind of getting ready. But I guess we had somebody, but they were resigning as of, I guess, July 1st. So I thought,
well, they're like, well, hey, you just figure this out. You just do it on your own. It's not.
Yeah, that was kind of, it was odd to me that we didn't. If we had somebody that's been with the township and with the MUA for maybe a couple of years,
right?
Why they didn't stick it out
or so, yeah.
to help transition in, but I don't know. My first thought was somebody not happy? Was somebody let go? Were people were concerned about layoffs and stuff like that, and I don't know. There wasn't any transparency. About the whole place.
In addition to it, how we ended up solving the problem is. What do we usually do in this town? We have a problem, Joe.
We went to one of our pay-to-play vendors. And we paid them. We're gonna pay Remington and Vernick.
Pay Remington and Vernick to hold that license for us because apparently we can't do that on our own.
So, more money. More money out to a pay-to-play vendor that will give it back
in donations to a campaign. Yep.
So that's it's one of the big criticisms is it always winds up like that. And I guess we got a clip about that one too, right?
Yeah, we do.
We also had, this missed our workshop earlier in the month.
Oh,
what
a shame.
It's a straw poll because Remington Burning is our engineer of record. But in order to move forward with our operations, our sewer operations, we need to have a C4 licensed operator responsible, and then also have a C3 backup operator service with Gloucester Township. So these services will be provided by Water Resource Management, which is the division of Remington and Vernick engineers. Mr. Carson, anything you want to add to that?
Now imagine that. We went to a pay-to-play vendor. Somehow, I don't know, a major piece of the MUA that what needed to happen, it didn't make the workshop meeting, so we're going to have to do a straw poll here.
One that...
Whoops! Well, again, whoops.
On a position that we had already.
Right, it already existed.
I guess we eliminated so that we could pay somebody else so that they can pay the money back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess Denise had some questions too about... Denise Coyne asked a lot of questions at these meetings, had some questions about who holds the license. What I took away from her question was... in one of the explanations, I think we found out that two of our people, I think they have ones and twos, C1s and C2s, and they were working towards C3s. But I think Denise, what I got from her was asking who
held it before.
Who held it before, or maybe even who has it now. The question got answered, didn't really.
No, what Cordis did in this is he answered, well, C4 covers it all. I didn't ask.
He made his own question up.
Right, he made his own question up to answer, like usual.
The MUA licenses that are required to be held, who currently holds those licenses?
Prior to Mr. David Kennedy, Mr. Kennedy had the C4 license, correct?
And he resigned his position as of July 1st.
But there were several licenses. It wasn't just one, was it?
The C4 covers everything.
So it's one person and one license.
Correct.
Well, now it's one person, one license, so he's answering.
Yeah, and I guess some other people, I think that they mentioned, if you watch the full meeting, I think there's a 1 and a 2 currently. And I guess one of the selling points to Remington and Vernick was that they will help those people transition into higher level licenses, which...
Great.
I guess that works. I mean, I guess it's a good pro. If it benefits some of our workers and elevates them to the next level, and as long as they, if they get their C4 and they stay here, great.
Yeah.
How long we'll pay Remington and Vernick though is kind of one of those things where it's like, all right, we should pick a time period and say we need
don't
you
pick
guys
end dates for that kind of stuff.
We need you guys to get your C4.
Indefinite. It'll always be there.
It's just always, we're always gonna, They're always going to have them. As soon as those guys reach C4 level, they're just going to disappear. They'll go somewhere else. So that's how that whole thing is. I don't know. Are we paying
Not much
anybody
more of an
different
update on the MUA, right? What's that?
now? Yeah. How do we pay this thing now?
Oh, I guess we'll find out.
I don't know. Does it come with a new envelope? Is it? I don't know. Yeah.
Well, we haven't been able to articulate an exact amount or even a ballpark amount of money that we're going to save on this whole MUA dissolution. But you think we're going to answer that question you just asked? No, I don't think so.
That
John.
question has been asked.
We're not
The
answering
answer
anything.
is I'm going to try to save a lot.
Yeah, it's going to be a
That's
lot.
kind of what they.
We hope it to be a lot. Well,
Yeah.
guess what? I hope to win the lottery tonight too.
Yeah.
But
So we're gonna save somewhere between
$0 and
$5 and a lot. So
Right.
nobody knows. We got rid of a whole division. People lost their jobs. Sounds like over a. We hope so.
yeah, over we hope so.
That's what
And
that is.
we needed the money in your surplus to balance our budget for this year. So
It is an election
screw
year.
you.
We did
It's
not.
an election year.
Did
Yep.
not want to raise taxes this election year because you would have remembered in November and you'd have been like,
Yeah.
"You guys got to go." We could
Just
talk
like
about
you probably will remember all the newly paved roads. All of a sudden now there's paving
all of
going
a sudden
on.
election year.
Don't think that that's not
we're paving.
intentional or that that's done just because, we're great at our jobs over here. No.
Yeah, we're
intentional.
we're paving some roads. We're making it all nice. So in November, you guys are going to be really happy.
They do such a good job. They just paved that road over
Yeah.
there. It's probably a lot of money.
That's how it works.
That's why my taxes are so high. And they didn't raise them this year.
Must be a lot of
Yeah.
must be a lot of voters too in Timber Cove. They're getting
Timber
new-
Cove, yeah, they're getting a new park over there. Now that's one of the ones that I have gone to, and it definitely needs it. If you go to our videos on our channel, which if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. But yeah, go to our channel, and there is a video about the park over in Timber Cove, and it definitely does need it.
That wasn't Duck
very
Park, right?
I don't recall if there was duct tape at that park, but it's not the one that you're thinking of.
Okay.
That
All right.
one was Mulberry Station. That I still don't think that thing is even done. They've been talking about it forever,
Oh, okay.
putting things in. The guy that started off when his kid was like 5 years old, and now he's like, I think
He's
like
driving now. Yeah.
yeah, he's a NASA scientist of some sort or something. He's been to space 3 times, so he doesn't actually need the park anymore. But thank you guys. I really want to thank you guys for all your work and effort on it. So yeah, but Timber Cove, we're spending about $210,000 on a new park between the equipment and the rubber mulch or whatever you call it, the rubber flooring.
That is pretty cool. That the rubber that they put around the parks.
Yeah,
It's really nice. We used to just bang our heads on rocks back in the day. Now you can just straight fall.
get a piece of mulch in your eyeball,
Yeah,
like
you could fall now. It's comfortable.
yeah,
Oh,
just bounce.
There's a lot of brain damage we had back then. We could have just avoided with these rubber mats. Now it's a rubber, like, I don't know. They pour it in. I was looking it
I
up.
wonder if sane asylums have that as like the floor in concrete, like you just people don't bang their heads on the walls and the
we should
floors.
get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
Speaking
Playground stuff is expensive.
it is.
I don't know that we do the best in shopping for the cheapest.
I don't think we do the best in shopping or in maintaining it. We throw it in. We spend whatever it costs.
Yeah.
Throw it in. We'll find a grant for it. We'll pay, to Triad to find a grant, and we'll pay them a big portion of the grant that we found, and then we'll put it towards the playground. That's what we typically do. But we don't take care of them at all. Once they go up, it turns into Mulberry Station, where you have gaff tape with paint over it to cover up a hole that was put in it. But we did have a resident that was concerned about that, basically that type of thing, that these playgrounds attract other type of use besides just children in there, and she kind of wanted to know was there going to be security and whatnot. But as she started off her questioning, The interesting thing that I found out was, or the interesting I noticed, I should say, the council president knew exactly what she was asking, but let her fumble through asking the question, because her fumbling through ate up time. Now, as we've talked about, many times on here, you only have a certain amount of time allotted to you in order to ask a question, either during the agenda only items or the public portion. You get either 3 minutes or 5 minutes. So this particular person, watch how he lets her fumble through this.
I had noticed there was a purchase for some type of park equipment. I didn't. There was a workshop earlier. I did not have access to the agenda to make a note when I read the agenda items on the bulletin board there. So I can't cross-reference the actual agenda number. It was for some type of playground equipment. It's on the agenda.
What was that?
I don't know.
There's two things. There is Resolution 187, confirming the purchase of items through the Ed Service Commission. And then the second one is for authorizing a contract, that's for the rubberized surface.
Then it must be a 2306187
That's, excuse me,
or 2306187. Is that when they're purchasing?
187 and 188.
And these are both for Timber Cove.
Timber Cove.
Yeah, I'm sorry, where is that
Timber
playground
Cove.
going? What is
Are you
that?
familiar where Skeeters is at?
No, I'm not really. I'm from Williamstown, New Jersey.
But you've lived here for quite some time.
Right, but I haven't driven the entire time I lived in Gloucester Township,
All right.
formerly known as Blackwood.
It's in the Blenheim section of our town.
But you've lived here for quite some time.
I know.
That was our rude disc clip of the week right there.
Yeah, that's I think we get about one of those now a week where he's just rude. But
Well,
I
there's
don't.
usually more, yeah. That we were starting to call them out and started to pull them out. And
Was he
notice it.
delaying because of the clock, or was he just flat out not listening because he knew that whatever it was, he wasn't going to give it an answer anyway?
I don't know. That's a good question. Either way, I just thought it was interesting. That
Yeah, I think
how much time he took, and then even when there was a point in there where he started to answer, and then he's like, "Wait, what?" And he like intentionally stopped to let her take up more time by answering the question, even though he already started to answer. He knew what the heck she was answering, but whatever. We're spending $120,000 on the equipment and $90,000 on the rubber surface, right? And
$90,000 for a rubber mat is like incredible.
I thought you couldn't get, like, tires were impossible to get rid of. Like, you had to pay to get rid of tires. But yet, when you try to buy
Apparently,
recycled
if you grind
tires,
them up and then glue them together,
we charge the cost of a house to lay a floor.
90 grand. Yeah, it's a really cool surface, man. I can't stress that enough. That it's a great surface. I guess they pour it on hot, but $90,000 for that. And then the playground equipment is expensive.
Well, so is that rubber floor. It's not. We're not knocking the township in this scenario here. That's just how much it costs for these. It's
one of those.
insane.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I had no idea. When we looked at parks before, when you look at a park and there's a sliding board and a couple things on it, and you say, hey, that cost $200,000, and you think, I've bought houses in my life,
right,
cheaper than $200,000. That's all we get.
Yeah,
It's the problem. I think comes in. Is it $90,000 to put it down, or can you get it for
45 and you paid 90?
40,000, but we paid 90.
A friend of yours that donated to your campaign.
And then, so earlier today I was looking through like municipal playground stuff, like municipal, like not backyard level. I'm talking these enormous things, like Veterans Park kind of things. They're $70,000. I've seen them up to, like, there was one I looked at earlier. It would hold 89 children, and it was around $80,000.
That's all.
Right. It wasn't 120,000. So I kind of feel like, I don't know. Are we putting this stuff out there and pricing it out? Look, we save.
Well, maybe you're talking about just the equipment and or maybe Yeah, that 89,000
Yeah.
is just the equipment. Maybe the 120 is equipment plus installation. I don't know what this is, but
I don't know.
you do have to have somebody install. It's not like you just buy it and it just shows up in a box and you're like,
Just
"All
call
right,
me.
We have one. It's
I
gotta
got
be
some
put up."
shovels.
You're gonna go put it out.
I'll put it up. I'll save everybody money.
I'm gonna be on site with the camera for.
You'll
this
be
one.
there because you're the park guy.
I'll be the park guy, yeah. But yeah, Joe D'Amico asked, "Where do the money from parks come from?" He's a park guy too.
Yeah,
he wants to know.
he likes the parks.
Good evening, Council. Joe D'Amico, Wallingford, Blackwood. Couple things on this. One, I just want to say thank you for
You're
the
welcome.
tax credit that you guys actually give to veterans. The fact that you're keeping that up, I think that's an important thing. It's it's very little. It's one of the best things we could do to acknowledge sacrifices people have given. In regard to the park, where does that money come from? It's about 200 grand.
Capital,
Capital that
It's
we
coming out of
approved
capital
earlier in the
budget.
year.
to the capital budget.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the budget we do earlier before the municipal budget every year.
Right. Which is the
Right.
projects,
They kind of lay that stuff out, the roads they're going to do, the
Yep.
parks and stuff like that. So they're all usually in there with pretty decent notice.
yeah.
Um,
And again, a lot of those times, whatever projects for a park or something like that they're able to put into the municipal budget, they usually tend to try to go out and find grants to help cover that.
Yeah.
But they are planning to outlay the money ahead of time because it needs to get done, or it's desired, or whatever the case is, and then hope to be able to get a grant to cover it, which doesn't always happen. But
yeah, I think most of the criticism come around parks is when they put the money in the budget for the park,
yeah,
and then the year comes and goes, that money went somewhere else, and then on the following year's capital budget, the park's back on there again. I'm like, wait, didn't we do that one already?
Right, yeah, yeah.
And they're like, oh no, yeah, we didn't do it. We didn't do the park then. We're gonna do it this year. So the money was budgeted, was pulled in from tax dollars, sent somewhere else, and then that's so when you see
Right.
like the criticism around the parks, it's usually because of that, not so much that people didn't want parks. They wanted
Right.
the park, but they didn't
yeah,
get the
and
park.
it's been explained, Joe. I mean, I don't remember exactly what meeting it was, but Sam Sweet, I remember, is the one who did it. He had an entire list of all projects from past municipal budgets where he said, okay, we've had the roof for I'm going to forget the exact thing.
Yeah, we paid for a roof.
The roof for the municipal building on 3 years in a row, and it's been X amount of dollars that we've put in here, but we haven't done the roof yet. How many times are we going to borrow for this? Because we're saying these are the priorities of the township in this municipal budget. In this year, it's our priority to fix X, Y, and Z. Put in, this park, that park, and this park. Fix this road, that road, and this road. And yet every year, the same things keep showing up on the same municipal budget. We borrow the money for it, and then it never happens. So where is it going? What's happening with this money?
Yeah.
And
the roof was the funny part because I think we borrowed for the roof 3 times, maybe 3 or 4 times, or I think we borrowed for it 3 times. It was over 4 years. In between borrowing for it, we borrowed to repair part of it.
right,
So
right.
we and then there's been playgrounds where we borrowed year after year for the playground. The playground never got done, and then it finally got done. But the money went somewhere else. But when you see playground, you think about, oh, I want to provide something for the kids. It's not rusty.
Yeah.
People are like, yeah, definitely do that.
You hate kids? Is that what
Yeah.
it is? You hate kids? You're questioning the playground?
Exactly.
No. Hey, a-hole, how about you've already borrowed for 3 times, you haven't done it.
Borrowed for
How about
Build
that?
it. Yes.
How about that?
So
Yeah.
I guess it was a redevelopment meeting also.
Yeah, so prior to the council meeting this time, there was a meeting that happened ahead of time, which was a redevelopment plan, or redevelopment meeting, and we've talked about this before, where because of the township being deemed an area of needed rehabilitation since the 70s or whatever, it makes council the redevelopment entity, which then if somebody wants to come in and redevelop something, they have to go in front of council. It's all a power thing. That's what it boils down to. But council's the one who has the say in in what happens there. And there was a meeting ahead of time that was asked, like, hey, what happened at that meeting? So there's two interesting things that happened, or that were at that meeting. One was what is it called? The drive-through property of the PNC Bank that's on Church Street.
Yeah.
Was that one was, I believe, potential, where someone was going to purchase that property to put in a retail food establishment that was a non-chain, and then the other one was further down Church Street towards the lake, the old charter school that's on the right-hand side if you're going towards the lake.
So cross over the
Was
Black Horse
purchased.
Pike?
Yeah, so you cross over to Black Horse Pike right before you get to the caboose on the right-hand
Yes.
side. There's a school, the charter school that was there, that somebody has purchased already and wants to make offices out of those, that school. And those were the two topics. So anyway, it was asked, like, what happened at that meeting? So we'll play that clip for you here.
Could you please summarize the redevelopment entity meeting that was held prior to this meeting?
So we had two applicants. An applicant who was interested in purchasing the property where the old PNC drive-through is on Church Street, and possibly having a retail food establishment there, not a chain. And then the second one was the purchase, this entity purchased the old Kingdom Charter School on Church Street, so West Church Street, and possible office spaces in there. They're going to have their own business in there, but renting out office spaces and possibly professional services, salon type activity.
So you have to write an ordinance because whatever they want to do is not an approved use for that?
Not write an ordinance, well, amend an ordinance, because what's located where the charter school is, it was listed as institutional, religious school, but there are offices that are located on West Church Street there. And then for the possible food establishment at the former PNC drive-through, that was listed as residential.
Yes, it's single-family attached municipal parks and recreation spaces.
Yeah, so it's basically the current zoning of each of those properties is not a conforming use to what the people that are either purchased or looking to purchase wanted to use those for. So the PNC drive-through on Church Street was residential. They want to make it a commercial building, and then the school down the street was basically a school institutional, and they want to make offices. So that
I
was
guess the drive-through must have changed at some point to residential.
It did. I believe that was in the Blackwood West redevelopment
Okay.
plan. They had a rezoning of a lot of things in that area, and that's what it's zoned as now, is residential. I don't remember if it was R1 or what R, but I don't remember how. It's a
I looked that up.
decent
That
sized
is-
property that's over there, but I think it was for two.
It's the size of a bathroom with the drive-through. It's tiny.
Oh well, the property itself, though, I'm talking.
No,
about.
yeah,
Not-
the property itself, yeah. But I guess if they're going to reuse that drive-through.
Oh
maybe?
no, I can't imagine that. That'd have to be knocked down, I would imagine.
If it's that's what I was wondering, because it's when you think of it, I was thinking that it's a PNC Bank with a drive-through.
Oh yeah, no,
it's like
it's literally just the drive-through
like
part. Like take the bank out of it.
Somebody goes into work, walks into a closet, and then there's two drive-through lanes, I think.
Right.
And then I think an ATM out.
It's like if you took remember phone booths back in the day? If you stood in a phone, if you went to work and you were the teller there, you'd stand in a phone booth, you just close the door, and you're like I can't even lift my arms up because.
Well, it's like the old remember the old photo booths.
Yeah.
Photo booths like they're
The Kodak in the middle of a shopping center.
That's what it's like. It's like the banking equivalent of that. It's like a one man little. It's tiny.
Yeah.
But I forgot it was there completely.
Yeah.
I never go down that road.
That school though was at one. I don't know what they actually whoever purchased it for, but that was a really good deal. I thought at one point in time they were only listing it for like $380,000. I mean, it's a big property. I was thinking if you've ever been over, I can't think of the name of it now. in South Philly, there's like an old school that they turned into like all artist studios, and each classroom is its own studio.
Oh wow!
Oh, what the heck is the name of it? But it's really cool that I was thinking about doing something like that over there, but people in this town don't appreciate art, I don't think, as much as I do.
You've been the first guy to put something artsy in the arts district.
It was. I think that's actually outside of the arts.
Is it?
Oh, maybe not. I don't know. I guess if they're in the Blackwood West redevelopment plan. But either way,
It's
it
close.
was cheap for how much building and space there was. I don't know what the condition of it was like inside, but relatively speaking, it's cheap. I did actually look up that property that's at the corner of whatever, that Church Street, the PNC corner property there, and they're asking like $400 for that, and there's nothing even on the property. So I don't know when that other. Either way, we're way off topic here.
So the next thing up on the list. Let's go into the clip first, and we can talk about it afterwards.
Okay.
Next is a GTE Gov Access email, and this is from Sam Sweet. I interviewed for the open council position vacated by Andrea Stubbs. The interview was recorded since not all of the council members were present. President Mercado, Councilman Hutchinson, and Councilman Grace were present. It is my understanding that this interview was recorded only to be seen by the missing council members. It has come to my attention that this is not the case. In fact, David Wilstein, editor of NJ Globe, has admitted to obtaining the recording of that interview. So my question is, which council member released the video to David Wilstein? If none of the council members did it, would there be an investigation into who gave the interview to David Wilstein? I don't know who provided this to David Wilstein. I'm not sure that he has this in possession. I know that there was a video from his interview with the Democratic County Committee, but I'm not aware that he has a video. So if Mr. Sweet, I'll reach out to Mr. Sweet and find out about that. And if none of the council members did it, will there be an investigation of who gave the interview to David Wilstein? I'm not sure it would merit investigation, but I will also reach out to Mr. Sweet regarding his VGov question.
So it's over a week now. Do you think he's reached out to Sam about that?
I was gonna ask Sam if he reached out. So, as everybody knows, when Stubbs resigned, they had to pick some people and they had to interview some people. So Sam was the choice previously on he was the runner up to who left before? Trotto, Tracy Trotto. Sam was the runner-up. Miss Albright Troxel got in, so the natural thing was Sam had to go in there and interview for it because it was like, hey, it's a given. He's gonna get the spot. So he did. He interviewed with the Democratic Committee. That was recorded. They didn't really tell him why it was recorded, and then afterwards, they chose 3 people. They sent them to council, and then council had to interview those people, and they recorded that at the municipal building. They recorded that for what they said was the rest of the people that were not available to attend that interview. Well, Sam was also running for Camden County Commissioner, and so what they did was they used his interviews and then sent those interviews to the New Jersey Globe and said, essentially, this guy's a misogynist. He made these jokes about women, posted these memes, and he's not apologizing for it. And they sent the recordings of his videos to the New Jersey Globe, and they used it in kind of this hit piece against him. Now,
is this hearsay, or do you know this for a fact that they sent both those videos?
So, in kind of I listen to I read the New Jersey Globe. They're pretty good for New Jersey politics. They're pretty good. Okay. And I thought, why is the New Jersey Globe doing kind of a hit piece on a guy that I know is involved in politics, not because he wants to be a politician? So I called David Wildstein, and talked to him, and it was an interesting conversation. It was about 52 minutes, I think. I was on the phone with him, asking him about, like, what's your angle here on attacking a guy that did something that, posted some funny stuff on Facebook that was in a group that was meant to do that kind of humor, and he mentioned getting 2 videos from someone who he said, look, I'm not going to tell you what my source was, but I have 2 different interviews here of Sam.
Okay.
And I pressed for it, but the thought was the first video, that the one that was released on the website, that was his committee, Democratic committee interview. The second one that they did not release was the one that he did for council. And
now, when you say they did not release, is the Globe did not release? The Globe
did not release,
but they claim that they have that video. They were sent both of the videos.
Yeah, they said that he said, I have 2 interview videos here with Sam. I don't feel the need that to release the second one. So we probably won't. And I brought it up to him that, hey, that second one probably wasn't, whoever released it to you, it wasn't theirs to release. The committee can do whatever they want.
Right.
It doesn't look good on the committee, but apparently people will vote for people in the committee no matter what they do. But the second one, that's not their property. That went to our council. That was not to be used for political gain by the Democrats. This was basically a nonpartisan interview at that point. and they released it, and that was, look, that crosses a line. Now the only person that could really step in here is, if we reach back out to David Wildstein and say, can you give me proof that you have that video? And if he does, there should be an investigation into how he got that video, and then somebody should be let go from council.
But council claimed that they didn't release anything.
Well, they played dumb. They played dumb like they did with every other.
Joe, they've never played dumb in the time.
Everything.
I've been following this. They don't play dumb.
Stubbs, all of it. They played dumb for every single thing, every dirty thing that they've done. And this should be, the famous letter that went out in October, which went on for months. This should be on the same level. They crossed They crossed another line again, and it's probably going to go away.
They obviously don't care, because who's going to hold them accountable? Who's ever going to do anything about it? The people. This is what we should be holding them accountable for. People should be asking about this kind of stuff.
So I don't know if somebody wanted to reach out to New Jersey Globe and get proof that they have it. I don't know if they'll cooperate. He seemed like he's the head of New Jersey Globe that I talked to. Nice guy, but he's got sources and he doesn't want to give them up. So
hey, who could blame him?
But yeah, it's another overreach on their power.
Yeah,
and also kind of goes along with the separation of powers there. It's one big team. It
is. It's one big team. You're not on it.
And after that, Joe D'Amico came back. Joe D'Amico was up, and one of his previous times up had asked about some liquor licenses.
Yeah, so they were renewing some of the pocket license. A pocket license is when a liquor license is similar to a piece of real estate. For somebody that doesn't know, you know what I mean? Like, you can own that piece of real estate or that liquor license, and then you can go and put it. Maybe real estate's not the best example of it, but it's something that you hold that has value, and you can put it into use when you say you purchase a new building, like the local goat building that was just it was the Tilted Kilt, and then somebody purchased it to open another. So a liquor license can be held by you and not be in place at a certain address. So they're called a pocket license at that point. It's in pocket, meaning I haven't placed it at a certain address yet. So there's a bunch of them that were being, renewed. And during the questioning, Joe had brought up something I didn't even know was a thing, but the town itself holds its own pocket license in pocket for what reason I don't know, but why don't you play clip 7? He's asking some questions here about this.
The LLCs that are going through, are we familiar with each one of these? Where's TT Liquors? What's TT Liquor LLC? What is that?
Nobody knows.
Location.
That's
an in-pocket license currently.
Okay. And what about JLLC?
Jail is also an in-pocket license.
And these are held by who are the entities? Well, obviously these are the entities, but these are ones that aren't being utilized, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. And then same thing with Cavana?
Yep, that's in pocket.
So we have 3 licenses that aren't being utilized at this time?
There are actually 4.
4?
Glendora Liquor
Liquors.
is also in pocket.
And have these had any, how long have these been in pocket? These things that went out of business and aren't being used, or these were previous locations, or?
You have folks that will have, or the business goes out of Glendora Liquors on the Beecham Road. They held on to that liquor license. Eventually, sometimes they'll hold out, try to sell that to another business within the town. For many, many years, I think we had, before the outlets came about, Ruby Tuesday had something that was in pocket for a long time, speculating about what will happen at the outlets. I'm tagging you in there.
Okay.
Township still has one. We still have one in pocket, correct? One.
Yes.
And then it's
One consumption.
consumption. And are these, how long are they able to sit on these licenses? Is it
As long as
perpetuous, or?
every 2 years, they have to do a special ruling that explains why it's still in pocket, what their intentions are, and they have to get approval from the director.
Okay.
Oh. So there's 4 licenses out there if anybody wants to open up a...
Yeah, you'd have to
Establishment.
purchase it from somebody else, and that's kind of what they were saying. Like Ruby Tuesdays had one in pocket because they were speculating, saying, "Well, when the outlets come, maybe we'll build our own, and then we have a liquor license already." So they have a value, a perceived value, or if there's 10 of them out there that are in pocket, they obviously become less. When there's 4 out there, it's less than if you have 0 and now somebody wants to purchase your liquor license for 10 times more than what your actual business is worth, and then you can close down shop and kind of like the Crazy Cat did over there in Deptford when Red Robin came into the mall and wanted to.
Oh, that's right.
So that whole business just said, "Yeah, here, we'll say the license," and now they're able to place it at the mall. So that's kind of what the same thing, what this is doing here. There's supposedly 4, but I found it curious that the town was holding on to its own when we have, which just goes into a whole nother. This spins off into a whole nother topic here, which is going to get a little bit long.
Well, immediately, I thought back to a topic that we brought up so many times before when we talked about
bank.
downtown Blackwood, the bank.
Yep.
We talked about the example that Pittman did with Merriman's.
Yep.
Pittman owns the bank that Merriman's is in, and then they also own the liquor license that they kind of lease to them. They lease
Right.
the bank, the building, and the license to them. Here we are owning a bank and a license, and we turned it into a black box theater.
Yeah.
Instead
it's
of
very interesting.
it all could have happened.
Well, this gets into my whole spiel I'm going to go on this whole thing here. So we have the one. Can you name the one thing that you would imagine that the town that we are in holds something that would require a license? What do we do anything here that would need a liquor license?
The
So like a
beer
car-
festival.
A beer yeah, we have a beer festival. Gloucester Township, a beer festival, right? But we don't use the liquor license that we already have, and we end up giving it to a nonprofit to use and get what's called a social affairs permit, and then the nonprofit benefits from that. And when I went back to my whole park tour thing, we'll call it, I noticed a lot of nonprofits that are involved in the parks that we have and different things that we have in the town, and it just makes you wonder. I don't know why, but like, I mean, obviously there's reasons behind it. Like the town doesn't want to get involved with the minutia of certain things. However, where's the line that you're supposed to be drawing of like, okay, who could, should, would be benefiting off of some of these things here? We have a the scholarship committee. Great thing that they're doing. They have scholarships that they're given. This past year, we went over this not that long ago. They awarded 40 scholarships for students. It was like 40 kids, $1,000 a piece, so $40,000. We have Main Stage in town, which is like an arts an arts thing. We have TBAA, soccer. There's the hockey. We have, councilwoman at almost every council meeting is talking about the hockey, such and such. Well, every nonprofit has to file what's called a 990, and it's a tax. It's their taxes basically. So here you pulled one up here.
This is Gloucester Township Day Scholarship Committee.
So anyone can go and look up these at any point in time. You can use guidestar.org is one. You can just look up 990 filing on Google and find whatever thing you want. But for that scholarship committee thing, for they issue the permit to a resident that lives at 33 North Brookline Drive, and that's the license. Well, we just learned that the township has one. So is it I get that they're doing a good thing for the town, but these nonprofits are generating a good amount of money, and I'm not sure if that's really. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. It's just curious, I guess is my thing. Some of these Main Stage, for instance, I don't know all the details, the economics of the entire deal there, but. If you pull up, what's Main Stage's 990 form here? Okay, so here we go. This, the township owns the building and the property, right?
Yeah.
From what I understand anyway, we give it to them for free. They don't pay anything for it. So right there, what's that? $814,000 in revenue right there for the year. I don't know if we pay the utilities. Do we pay upgrades? Like, I don't know what the economics of the of the deal here are. But when people hear nonprofit, they just think automatically they're donating everything. And a nonprofit, that people can pull a salary from a nonprofit, right? It's not like there's no money going out the door as expenses into people's pockets. And then when you're calling it, something like, what their cash reserve or whatever, I don't even know what the heck the term is for the year. But when they have $600,000 on the on the books here for like what a business would call profit, I don't know. I mean, is there anything to that? Should somebody be looking at that? Are our tax dollars paying for the utilities and the ground and everything else for a company who we're saying it's okay for them to go and do whatever it is that we said it's okay to go do, and not how do we select those groups? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. Yeah, how do you? If you want to put on shows, you how do you get selected to be the one that puts on the shows?
Right, and I take this one personally because of the farmers market thing, right?
Yeah.
So if they want to know why I'm bringing this up, here's the perfect reason why. It was me, I guess I'm not in the in crowd. Like, what's George Carlin say? Like, it's a big, it's a big crowd or a big club and you're not part of it.
Yeah.
I'm not part of that club. I went and saw that people were asking over and over about the farmers market, so I went to start up a nonprofit organization and start a farmers market up there. And what do? Pull it away. I was still involved in the startup of it, but not as the nonprofit, because the nonprofit was not something that they had control over. Maybe they don't have control over these other ones, but I don't know what it is, but there's something there about the control and the messaging and who it is and everything else. There has to be. You prove me wrong that there's not. So when the whole farmers market thing was coming up, I'm talking to people at the county building over down in Lakeland, talking to people at our municipal. So the property where the library is and the farmers market used to be held is where Main Stage is also at. It's part of the Pumpkin Festival is there. Pumpkin Festival is run by the nonprofit, the Main Stage there. They're profiting off of all that. The revenues that they're taking in, yes, they're doing a lot of work with it. But going back to this farmers market thing there, I remember the email coming from the guy that ran Main Stage basically telling the town, F you, you're not using this property because I have classes going on here on whatever it was night. And I was like, how does this guy have that kind of power to tell? He literally told the people, the township who's running the town, who are managing the property of the people of the town that own it. Because our government is us that own it. The people own it, and he's telling us, no, we can't use that property for the for the farmers market, and then it had to be put across the street over at the now abandoned Rite Aid building, which we have an easement for that Harwin Park that's over there. And I just thought to myself, I'm like, that's really odd. Like, how does that nonprofit have that kind of power to be able to tell the township, who's giving them the property and the taxpayers are paying for the building and all the other stuff? Where does that line, like, who? I don't know. There's something weird about it, and it's not just Main Stage. I'm not picking on Main Stage. I'm just saying in general, how do these things happen? And the whole reason I'm bringing it up is because of that whole liquor license thing and saying, well, wait, the scholarship committee is the one who goes out and gets the liquor license to hold the beer festival. Each different sports team is the one that's going out and they're raising it. Again, go on to it's guidestar.org and go look up, just type the word Gloucester Township in there. I think you have to create a free account. It doesn't cost you anything. They don't spam you. But go on there and create a free account. Just type Gloucester Township in there and find out all the different Gloucester Township nonprofits and see them out there. And it's really, really eye-opening to see, like, oh wow, the hockey raise. How much is hockey? $204,000 they have on the books from I don't know, it was last year. Main Stage $815,000. It's a whole. It's just eye opening, and what constitutes revenue on their side? What they have to report? I don't know. Is it uniforms? Is it I'm not sure what it is, but
yeah. If hockey makes $204,000 a year, does that go? And that money doesn't. I don't recall that money coming back into like capital budgets when we're doing if we're creating rehabbing any hockey rinks. Right. What does that go towards? I mean, these could probably just be simply answered questions, but it's just a question. I don't know. It's just a question to bring up. But where does that money go?
But is it? I guess it's not. It's not the towns. It's not like Gloucester Township doesn't own.
No,
just say TBAA or doesn't own the Stallions hockey or whatever. I don't know what the name was, but it doesn't own those. So an individual person had to go set up, and you can go look and see who the people's names are that are on all these tax filings. An individual person started that, so it's almost a business, but it's not necessarily a business because it has a cause and it's for a thing, and it's not necessarily meant to profit from. But that doesn't mean that people can't be paid from doing that. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it had to be reported correctly. I mean, people get in charge of or get caught up in tax fraud things all the time. So what's on there doesn't necessarily mean that that's legit. You could have looked at, I don't know, who Wesley Snipes who got busted for tax, right? Yeah. You could look at his returns before he got busted and say, he's a stand-up guy. He's whatever it is. But who knows? I don't know who it is. It's just it can be and should be questioned, to a degree. I don't know. Maybe I'm being. I don't know what I'm being, but I just know it's.
I don't know. There's a lot of things to be curious about, and I think that it's. I like it because worst case, we learned about something that we had no idea before. Maybe that main stage money goes towards something great. I don't know. I mean, the scholarship money.
We know where
the scholarship money's going. They're paying it out to kids at the end every year. They pay it out. And then I was shocked to find out that the scholarship that's registered to somebody in Clayton.
Yeah.
But actually, when I looked up to find out who actually does that, she's in our school system. She is.
Right.
She's at Blackwood Regional. I think she's the athletic director. I guess that runs that nonprofit.
Yeah, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with any of these things. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's something else to look at, because the more we look at other things in the town, the more we question, right? It's just another thing to question, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of dead ends, but then sometimes you're like, wait, this is weird.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things.
Which actually leads into another. It's one of the things that I saw recently. That's you don't know who. I like seeing different things that happen in town and seeing it in a different lens of other people. But there's been like a dirt mountain that's been building up that I don't even think anybody sees, and it boggles my mind. Everywhere I go, I see this over top of other
didn't notice
buildings.
this until I saw this clip.
Yeah, you didn't see it either.
No, I've never seen this. I've never seen this.
If your neighbor decided they're gonna put, hey, I'm gonna start putting dirt on my property, and it became like 7 stories tall.
Yeah.
Somebody might say something, right? Unless maybe, I don't know, maybe you have connections. Maybe you're in that club and we don't know it.
I think it's actually a clip of my neighbor's yard in this video coming up.
Is it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so this is Windy Hill Towns. And they dug out this big retention pond here. This looks nice, and I'm sure it's needed for all the building that they're doing here. But I noticed where they're putting this dirt is just piling up, and you can kind of see it from all over town. You can't see it from where we are here, but beyond those trees over there, there's a pile that's, I'm pretty sure you can go skiing on it.
That's my neighbor's. Looks like my neighbor's yard.
You have
there.
Self-serve car wash.
I love that car wash too, by the way.
Parking lot here. But when you walk up this hill, this is where they've been dumping all this dirt.
Yeah, trucks go up that.
It's hard to get the scope of how big this is in a video here, but it doesn't look like they're done dumping. There's still
It's taller than
plenty of
those
room up
trees.
here to
It's
pile on top, and then I guess they just pack it down and drive up to the top of it, pack it down some more. But again, it's gotten so high, you can see it from everywhere.
yeah.
It's like it's like towering over.
Look at it. It's
Look how
3
nice that
times the
looks for
size.
this place here.
They brought back
See a
Ski
big
Mountain
mountain?
from Pine Hill.
Yeah.
If we
You
could
even see it from
somehow
our
get
downtown
restored GT
Blackwood
letters on the
location.
side of the mountain.
right in the heart of the NPP program here.
Look at that thing.
That's not even the highest part of the mountain. You can see it further back.
Look, it's like taller than this church over here. It's insane how big
right
this
there,
is.
you can even see it.
In the how I got it, well, I'll tell you after this.
Yeah, look how high it is on this side over here. I mean, that's that mountain of dirt.
I'm gonna get the best view of it here in the camera.
It's gotta be what, 5 stories? The other day there was snow on the top of the mountain over there, but we had a lot of rain, so it kind of melted it, I guess. And here they started a mural downtown Blackwood. Looks pretty nice. It's good depiction of Gloucester Township here. Something nice up front, and then all the way off in the distance over there.
That's going to be a nice ski resort.
Taken care of. Somebody you don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much it. It's always somebody you don't know is getting taken care of around here, it seems like.
We gotta get letters on the side of that thing.
On the side of that building?
Yeah, no, the mountain.
Oh, yeah.
No, the building's somebody else's.
Yeah.
The mountain is going to be ours.
But so people contact me with random stuff all the time, and sometimes it's just like, wow, you're right. You know what I mean? And that was one that somebody in the neighborhood back there was like, you wouldn't even believe what I have to look at every single day now. All of a sudden, there's now this monstrosity of a mountain that I don't even know if this is legal to have. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And I look, I'm like, oh my God, you're right. And then I noticed it from everywhere. Like once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. You know what I mean? And I was like, wow, I can't imagine. And that same person had to deal with, there's like a trucking company that's back there. It's a whole big thing. But again, it's just being brought to your attention, and you're like, wow.
You know how when there's potholes in the road, people draw obscene stuff on them? And then the township comes in and they fix it.
Yeah.
We get some paint. Just spray some Restore GT on the side of the mountain up there. Gone.
Oh yeah.
It'll be gone. It'll be gone.
Be knocking it down.
You gotta need paint. No, don't do that. We didn't tell you to do that.
Restore GT. I was gonna put one of my signs out on the top of it. I don't think I can climb up that hill.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a great place for a sign too.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, if you need a sign, let us know. Keith's got more signs. He's been delivering them.
Send us a message with your address. I'll drop them off.
I was working, looked out my window, and I thought, I could use a sign out there. I was like, hey, I ain't get a sign. I used the bathroom. I came back, and there was a sign in the front yard. I don't even know where it came from. Snuck in, put a sign down. So, yeah, we got signs. We got signs out there now. And if you haven't already,
help support the #1 podcast by getting a sign, and go ahead, just subscribe and all that.
Subscribe, hit the notification bell, go to restoregT.com. There's stuff there that's not videos also. Occasionally there's some articles. People even donate. They hit the donate button. They got some signs. They hit the donate button. They're like, yeah, it's worth a couple bucks.
Yeah.
Drop some money in there. So yeah. We got stuff everywhere, man. We got stuff going on everywhere.
Be part of our gang.
Yeah. So, I think that's it, right?
Yeah, I'm spent. I can't talk anymore, so.
That's it.
We'll see you guys next week or a week after, as soon as we can.
Council meeting's coming up on Monday, right?
I don't know. Maybe.
Monday,
it'll be next
week. 10th. I think it's like the 10th.
We'll see you next time, folks.
See you there, folks.